The first half of this year was full of highs. I won the short course trail national championship, raced my first ever track 5K, and started building towards Ultra Trail Australia. Along the way, I made the switch from trail to road, won the Canberra Marathon, and backed it up at Hilly Half. I was also fortunate enough to secure my first sponsorship, something I've been working towards for a long time. At that point, I was 3 for 3, healthy, confident, and excited for what was ahead. Everything was building towards OCC in Chamonix this August. Then things changed. A setback forced me to hit pause, reassess, and shift my focus away from the goals that I'd been chasing all year. This video is a look back at the lessons and the process of rebuilding for the second half of the season. I know I can't change what happened, but I know I can change what happens next. One thing I've been really bad at is I get into the gym and I just want to do everything. So this week, I'm just going to focus on having the program, doing the exercises that I've set, only doing as many as I have on there, and leaving. But while I was there, I was just having a little think about why I've been feeling stressed and why my brain's felt so scattered. And I think a lot of it comes down to making myself busy with things that I just don't need to be making myself busy with. A big one is my phone, all the apps that we have on there. It's ridiculous how much time we spend on our phones. We pay for things on our phones, our music's on our phones. All of my running apps, they're on my phone. If I don't know something, I'm on my phone, I'm trying to Google it. There's no time for your brain to just sit and have its own thoughts. So that's one thing I am going to try to be better at, and I want to work on this week. So first thing I did a few weeks back, I deleted Strava. I already have my Sunto app that tracks all my running and training peaks, like that tracks all my running. Why do I need another one? Strava's great. I love Strava. It's really cool to, keep me motivated, but at the same time, it's not really benefiting me. Aside from getting crowns and top 10s and seeing what other people are doing, it's just making me busy. And then last night I actually deleted Spotify. So I've been spending lots of time listening to podcasts, trying to browse through music, looking at audiobooks. And it's just those extra minutes where you sit in the car and you just having a look through, what do you want to listen to, putting it on. And it's just, I don't need it. So I got rid of Spotify. I'm just going to start listening to the radio when I drive. And yeah, especially when I am at the gym, it's nice not to have earphones in. I'm not thinking about changing the song. I'm not thinking about them falling out of my ears. I can just be there. Although today there was no music on, so it was really strange just being in there and listening to other people breathe. Happy Wednesday. I'm just out walking, Coach, and kind of while I was walking along, I was thinking a lot about routine and how I just feel like it's something that I'm lacking at the moment. Previously, when I was living in Melbourne, I struggled with this as well, and I feel like I finally got into a good flow. I, would wake up, I knew what my steps were, what I was doing in the morning, and it was just starting to work out. And then as soon as that happened, I feel like that's when we moved. And we moved to Canberra. A lot of things changed. I got a new job. We're living in an apartment. Christian's back on shift work. And all of a sudden, everything's just become super overwhelming again. So this week, I'm really just trying to knuckle down and just figure out what it is that I'm trying to achieve in the mornings. What are those things that get me up and excited to have a good day? I suppose the first step to this was just figuring out what my priorities are. So for me, in the morning, to set myself up, priorities are moving my body, getting outside, and spending some time with Coach. So all super simple, but I just found like somewhere I really, really complicated all of this, especially during winter when it's cold, a little bit miserable. It's so nice to just be able to get out my nice mug, pop some coffee in there, go sit down and just sit and kind of get ready to start the day. Around 5:30, I'll head to the gym, so trying to get back into some movement. So this morning I just went in and did 30 minutes on the elliptical. Before that, I just did 5-10 minutes of core as well. So really trying to engage my my glutes and my lower abdominals and things like that to start protecting my lower back. I think previously I have thought I've been doing this, but maybe I haven't really focused on the quality of the exercises. And then after that, just jumped in, did a little bit of mobility and rehab stuff. Also things that I've probably been not so good at doing. So I spend about an hour there, an hour 15, and get home around 7. Come home, I'll make some food, either a bagel or a smoothie, and then I'll head out with Coach. He does get cooped up in the apartment all day, so I just find it makes me feel better and less guilty if we can just, spend that time in the morning. And then, by the time I get home, I just sort myself out, get ready for work, and then, head out the door. And I think a really big reason for needing this routine is I've noticed that the stress that I've been feeling has come down to me putting things off or having really high decision fatigue and just having so many choices that I could make and not being able to choose one. I've reflected on this quite a bit the last few weeks and just kind of realized that, you know, I have like this to-do list in my head and all these things that I prioritize. And sometimes I get so caught up in, you know, some of the littler stuff or like the sillier stuff. And I just push these other things aside. And then the longer that I push them aside for, the more they kind of like build up until I don't know why I feel like frazzled and stressed, and until I kind of look back and go, oh, that was like these things that I really wanted to do or achieve, and I haven't prioritized them. I haven't put the time into them. The first step that I took was Christian and I actually moved our TV out of our main living room. I found that it's just so easy, you know, to get home from work and like throw the TV on, and then you literally just lose like 2 or 3 hours at a time. And that's time that I could be spending doing other things, or like even just relaxing, getting ready for bed and trying to, you know, get good sleep, limiting my social media as well. So just a little update on where I'm kind of at with my running. And no, I haven't run yet. A little part of me is just really nervous to actually go running without getting some kind of clearance from someone and be like, yeah, that's fine. You know, you're not going to cause long-term damage. The main thing I noticed lately is previously I was getting pain like all down my right side. And then the past 2 or 3 days, that pain's moved over to the left. So I don't know if it's a good thing. I don't know if it's a bad thing. It kind of feels like a good thing, like at least something's changing. But definitely trying to monitor that, and I don't really want to start running until I do feel good and safe. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about my gym routine and what I'm focusing on there. So I've really tried to pull back with this and just try to focus on doing the little things that I haven't been doing properly. So at the start, when I get to the gym, I might sit on the bike for a little bit, just get myself warmed up, and then I'll go straight into just like a bit of mobility, and even doing some mobility on my upper body to get everything moving, because that's definitely something I've been neglecting in the past. And then I've started doing my core work before I get into any lifts too, so making sure that my core's warmed up. I always found when I used to go to gym, you know, you'd get to the end of your session and then you'd want to do, you know, your 10 minutes of core, but you'd look at the time and then come up with some kind of excuse to be like, oh no, I'll just do it later. And that was definitely me. So now I'm just going to avoid making that mistake ever again. I'm just going to move it to the front of my session. I can get it out of the way and then get into the rest of the work. Biggest thing I've dialed back on this week is the weight. I'm really just trying to focus on either doing body weight or super lightweight, and making sure that when I do the exercises, say like Bulgarian split squats, I'm doing them slowly, I'm doing them controlled, and I'm just making sure that I'm feeling the muscles work that need to be working. Even with calf raises, I used to do them in the Smith machine. Right now, I'm just holding a weight and just doing it on some kind of step, just to take that load off my back. Purely just going off my own knowledge and what I think's right for me. I've started doing some farmer's carries, so just holding some weights in each hand and walking around with those. And I do think that's good, a good way to stabilize my core while I'm moving. In the past at the gym, I have definitely got caught up in, you know, just lifting as much as I can and really trying to leave the gym feeling sore. But now I'm just, yeah, like I said, I'm pulling that back. I'm doing my glute bridges with no weight. And yeah, then leaving the gym feeling like, okay, I've done the right things, but I haven't put myself in a hole. So when people used to say that when they take like a taper for a race, they'd get real sick, that's kind of how I feel right now. The longest taper ever. But I feel like I just started getting on top of all the pain that I was having, and yeah, now I just feel awful. So I've had asthma ever since I was little, and it's never been affected by exercise. I think exercise actually helps quite a bit. But what brings it on is the weather, if there's like big changes in the weather going from hot to cold. And that's been Canberra right now. So I usually take puffers every day. I've got a Serotype and a Ventolin. And part of me doesn't want to be taking them. So sometimes I'll skip some days. Don't follow my advice. But yeah, I find just if I do that at the wrong time, it really catches up with me. And I just get like really tight in my neck, in my chest, and breathing just becomes all mouth. So that's just what I'm dealing with at the moment. So just trying to keep this ride nice and easy. I'm huffing though. I'm watching my heart rate. I'm at 160, pushing 110 watts. I did hang out with my sister and my nephews, who are 3.5, last weekend. So I'm not blaming them, but I think they definitely contributed. So a mistake I've made in the past with core and stretching is I always think I'll get to the end of the day, I'll put something on TV and I'll do it then. And by doing that, I feel like I just end up sitting on the floor, getting distracted, scrolling on my phone, and then it's been 45 minutes, an hour, and I've actually just not achieved anything. So what I'm gonna do is whenever I want to do some stretching or I want to do some core, I'm just going to set myself a timer. So this morning I'll put a 10-minute timer on. I'm just going to do core for 10 minutes, be done, move on with my day. And this just brings me back to focusing on one thing at a time so that I can put all my energy into one thing and not try to be doing a million things at once, but only doing half jobs. Made it to Sunday and it feels like it's been a week. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I'm definitely feeling like I'm getting a little bit more sick each day. I woke up this morning and was going to go to the gym, but felt like sleep was probably more important. So slept in and then we just took Coach to the dog park, which was really nice. It honestly feels like it's been such a gloomy week too. All the training I've been doing, it's been inside, it's been cloudy, it's been so foggy in the mornings. There's been no natural light. And I'm looking back at the videos and just thinking, oh my goodness, this is so sad. Definitely not a vibe. I'm sorry for that. Hopefully next week is going to be a little bit sunnier and happier. But positives for this week, so I got through 2 solid gym sessions. I did a 30-minute elliptical, a 40-minute cycle, and 3 solid ab sessions. Not as much as I thought I'd do, but we're going to take the little wins. So still happy with how we've gone. And yeah, it just means I can sit back today and reassess, see what I want to achieve next week, and move forward that way. I think a good thing I'll start doing is I'll start tracking my fitness. So I might just use the Sunto app. I haven't been very consistent using Training Peaks, and just track my fitness or my CTL. Still not 100% sure what that means, but I just know that higher numbers means I'm fitter, lower numbers mean I'm not very fit. At the start of May, my fitness was at 75 according to Sunto, and right now I'm down at 24. So that's going to be a ride. Basically, Sunto just keeps telling me I'm losing fitness, and a low number just looks bad. I won't get hung up on it, but it'll be just a good way to see how I'm progressing. One thing I'm going to do next week is I'm going to touch base with a physio at Hybrid Athletics, so here in Canberra. I previously did strength testing with these guys earlier in the year, and they also run a really good track session on Tuesday mornings that I've been to a few times. So keen to go back to someone who knows a little bit more about who I am as an athlete, where I'm trying to get as an athlete, and help me move forward that way. And essentially just trying to kind of get some clearance on making sure that everything I've been doing is okay, and that's gonna hopefully get me racing by the end of the year. Fingers crossed. But that's where I'm at right now. Thanks for coming along for the ride, and yeah, like I said, hopefully next week's a bit more upbeat. There's a bit more going on, and there's some sunshine. I'll see you then.